This week's Parsha of Parshas Korach, we find the very unfortunate episode that Korach broke away a faction from the Jewish people. Korach, who was originally one of the senior elders of the tribe of Levi and a cousin of Moshe Rabbeinu, and he became a divisive figure by breaking away his faction and demanding a power in terms of power sharing arrangement with Moshe Rabbeinu. And it was very, very unfortunate, and there's so many different layers to this story that really indicate how devastating machlokas and controversy can be. I just want to highlight one aspect of the story. It says that Moshe reached out in the middle to two of his adversaries, these two main antagonists, that whenever there was any sort of controversy, they would just migrate towards that controversy. In this case, it was the controversy of Korach, but those two antagonists were known as Dasan and Aviram. And Moshe, it says, reached out to them, Vayishlach Moshe l'krelo Dasan l'Aviram b'nei Eliab, and he wanted to have a dialogue with them. And Rashi says something really profound and powerful. Rashi says, why did he want to have a dialogue with such antagonists? Rashi says, "Mikan she'em machazikim machlokas," because we're not supposed to maintain a machlokas. We're not supposed to maintain a disagreement, a falling out or rupture in relationship. And really, this teaches us a very profound thing, because many times when it comes to people having a falling out or a disagreement with one another, we tend to focus on who is the wronged party and who is in the right. And many people say, I was wronged and I happen to be right, so why should I make many moves, and so on and so forth. And unfortunately, sometimes relationships come to an end and people don't talk to each other for years. It can be family members not talking to each other for years, friends not talking to each other for years. And that's really such a devastating consequence of machlokas. And we see that from what Rashi teaches us about Moshe, it was a machzikim machlokas, meaning don't focus on who's right and who's wrong. Of course Moshe was right, of course Dasan and Aviram were wrong, but that's not something to focus on. What's important to focus on is that there's a machlokas here. And the machlokas is toxic. Machlokas is terrible. Machlokas it ruptures the community, and we have to end the machlokas and do whatever we can to end it. If the question is going to be who's right and who's wrong, perhaps we're never going to end the machlokas. Moshe Rabbeinu said to rise above it, and truth of the matter was, in Moshe's case, even that didn't help, because the Dasan and Aviram were such antagonists. They refused to have any dialogue with Moshe. But from Moshe's perspective, he teaches us how far one has to go to stay away from machlokas, but not only that, not to focus on who's right and who's wrong, but just to focus on moving away from a machlokas. Wishing everybody a very good Shabbos.